Confidence in speaking is not a talent. It is a state of calm control. Nervousness does not mean you are weak. It means your mind has not learned safety yet. This audiobook will teach your mind how to feel safe while your voice stays strong. You will learn how to speak without shaking, how to stand without fear, how to face people without your heart racing. This is not about becoming loud. It is about becoming steady. Stay with this journey until the end. And make sure to subscribe, because this is where fear ends and confident speaking begins. Chapter 1. Why nervousness controls your voice. Nervousness does not begin in your mouth. It begins in your mind. Long before your voice shakes, your thoughts have already lost balance. The fear you feel while speaking is not random. It is learned, stored, repeated. Your body is not betraying you. It is trying to protect you. When you stand in front of people, your brain does not see an audience. It sees danger, not physical danger, social danger. The fear of being judged, the fear of being rejected, the fear of being exposed. Your nervous system reacts as if your survival depends on approval. This is why your breath becomes shallow. This is why your throat tightens. This is why your voice loses strength. Your body is preparing to escape. Most people think nervousness means they lack confidence. That is not true. Nervousness means your mind has not learned safety and expression. Somewhere in your past, speaking became associated with risk. Maybe you were laughed at. Maybe you were ignored. Maybe you were corrected harshly. Maybe you were silenced. Your brain recorded that moment, and it never forgot. So now, every time you speak in public, your body remembers before you do. It reacts instantly, faster than logic, faster than intention. This is why telling yourself "be confident" never works. Confidence is not a command. It is a condition, and nervousness controls your voice because your body believes silence is safer than expression. Your voice is connected to your nervous system. When the system feels unsafe, the voice weakens, not because you are incapable, but because your body is cautious. Your vocal cords tighten when fear rises. Your breathing shortens. Your tone becomes unstable. You are not losing control. Your body is taking control. And unless you understand this, you will always fight yourself while speaking. The fear is not in the words. It is in the meaning you attach to being seen. Public speaking activates something deeper than communication. It activates identity. When you speak publicly, you are saying, "This is me." And for many people, that feels dangerous. Because exposure once caused pain. Your mind learned that visibility equals vulnerability, so it protects you by weakening your voice, by making you rush, by making you forget, by making you want to disappear. Nervousness is avoidance disguised as anxiety. The body wants to escape attention. This is why your voice shakes more. When you care about the audience, the more important the moment feels, the more the fear rises. Because importance increases perceived risk. Your mind is not afraid of speaking. It is afraid of consequence. It fears what might happen after the words leave your mouth. Judgment, rejection, failure. And fear always tightens the voice. Confidence does not disappear under pressure. It never existed in the first place, because safety was never built. Most people try to fix nervousness at the surface level. They focus on posture. They focus on scripts. They focus on volume. But nervousness does not respond to technique alone. It responds to reassurance. Your nervous system needs to learn that speaking is not a threat. Until that happens, your voice will continue to shake, no matter how prepared you are. This is why talented people still get nervous. This is why intelligent people still freeze. This is why experienced people still feel fear. Knowledge does not calm the nervous system. Safety does. Your voice is strongest when your body feels grounded, when your breath is deep, when your chest is open, when your mind is present. But fear pulls you out of the present moment. It throws you into anticipation. What if I mess up? What if they judge me? What if I fail? These thoughts hijack your voice. Your focus moves from expression to survival. And survival mode silences confidence. Another reason nervousness controls your voice is because you identify too strongly with the outcome. You believe your value depends on how you perform. So your voice carries pressure. Pressure makes sound unstable. The voice is not meant to carry self-worth. It is meant to carry message. But when you place your identity on your performance, your voice collapses under weight. This is why relaxed speakers sound confident. Even when they make mistakes, they are not attached to perfection. They are present. Presence stabilizes the voice. Fear disconnects you from presence. When you are present, your voice flows naturally. When you are afraid, your voice fragments. Nervousness also controls your voice because you are trying to control how you are perceived. Control creates tension. Tension restricts breath. Restricted breath weakens voice. Confidence is not control. It is release. Release of outcome. Release of approval seeking. Release of self-monitoring. When you stop monitoring yourself, your voice becomes natural. But fear keeps you watching yourself from outside. You are no longer speaking. You are observing yourself speak. This split kills confidence. Your mind and body stop working together. The body tightens. The voice trembles. The mind races. And you wonder why you can't speak normally. It is because normal speech requires unity. Nervousness creates division inside you. This chapter is not here to shame you. It is here to free you. Nothing is wrong with you. Your nervousness is logical. Your fear is learned. Your voice is responding correctly to what it believes is danger. And that means it can be retrained. Confidence is not something you force. It is something you rebuild, slowly, gently, safely. In the next chapters, you will learn how to teach your nervous system that speaking is safe again. You will learn how to calm your body before you speak. You will learn how to breathe so your voice regains strength. You will learn how to stand in front of people without your heart racing. But it starts here, with understanding. When you understand why nervousness controls your voice, you stop fighting yourself. And the moment you stop fighting, confidence begins to return. Chapter 2. How the mind creates fear before you speak. Fear does not appear suddenly. It is constructed, built quietly, layer by layer, thought by thought. By the time your mouth opens, the fear has already finished its work. The mind always acts first. The body only follows orders. When you prepare to speak, your mind begins scanning the environment, not for opportunity, for threat. This happens automatically, without permission, without awareness. Your brain asks one silent question: am I safe here? If the answer is uncertain, fear is created. Wide side the eyes drawn of you is faststand. The mind does not need proof. It only needs memory. If at any point in your life, speaking led to embarrassment, rejection, or emotional pain, the mind stores that experience, not as a story, as a warning. So now, before you speak, your mind revisits the past. It does not do this consciously. It does it instinctively. Your brain compares the present moment with stored emotional data. A group of people, attention focused on you. Expectation in the air. These signals match old memories, and the mind reacts. It does not ask whether this moment is different. It assumes danger based on similarity. This is how fear is created before you speak. The mind projects outcomes before reality unfolds. It imagines judgment. It imagines failure. It imagines rejection. These images feel real to the nervous system. The body cannot tell the difference between imagined danger and actual danger, so it reacts as if the threat is real. Heart rate increases, breath shortens, muscles tighten, voice weakens. All of this happens before the first word leaves your mouth. You feel afraid, but the fear did not start there. It started in anticipation. The mind lives in the future when fear takes over. Instead of staying present, it jumps ahead. It rehearses worst-case scenarios. What if I forget? What if I sound stupid? What if they notice I am nervous? These thoughts create emotional pressure. Pressure collapses confidence. The mind also creates fear by attaching meaning to speaking. Speaking becomes more than communication. It becomes evaluation. You are no longer sharing information. You are being measured. This belief turns attention into threat. When attention feels dangerous, the mind tries to protect you. Protection comes in the form of fear. Fear is not the enemy. It is a misguided guardian. Your mind believes fear will keep you safe by stopping you from exposure. But instead of stopping you, it interferes with your voice. The mind also creates fear by demanding perfection. It sets impossible standards. Speak clearly. Speak confidently. Do not make mistakes. Do not hesitate. These internal rules create tension. No human voice can survive perfection. Perfection removes flexibility. Flexibility is confidence. When the mind demands flawlessness, the body freezes. Because fear thrives in rigid expectations, another way the mind creates fear is through self-observation. Before you speak, your attention turns inward. You begin watching yourself. How do I sound? How do I look? What are they thinking? This internal monitoring splits your awareness. You are no longer fully present. One part of you speaks. Another part judges. This division weakens your voice. Natural speech requires unity. Fear creates separation. The mind also magnifies importance. It tells you this moment defines you. This presentation matters too much. This meeting decides your value. This speech determines your future. The more importance the mind attaches, the more fear it generates. Fear grows when stakes feel personal. When your identity is tied to performance, the mind panics because identity feels fragile. The mind protects identity aggressively. This is why fear spikes when speaking in front of people you respect. Their opinion feels powerful. The mind believes approval equals safety, so it creates fear to prevent disapproval. Ironically, this fear causes the very outcome the mind is trying to avoid. Another layer of fear creation comes from past conditioning. If you grew up being corrected harshly, interrupted often, or ignored when speaking, your mind learned caution. Speaking became associated with risk. Even if those experiences were small, the emotional imprint remained. The mind does not forget emotional pain. It stores it for survival. So now every speaking moment activates old emotional circuits. You are not reacting to the present. You are reacting to memory. This is why fear feels disproportionate. The moment may be safe, but the reaction feels intense, because it is not about now, it is about then. The mind also creates fear by misinterpreting bodily sensations. A faster heartbeat, sweaty palms, a rush of energy. These are normal responses, but the mind labels them as danger. It says something is wrong. This interpretation escalates fear. The body responds to the mind's interpretation, and the cycle deepens. Fear feeds fear. The mind does not calm itself naturally. It needs reassurance. Without reassurance, it keeps escalating threat perception. Another mechanism is comparison. Before speaking, the mind compares you to others. They sound confident. They look calm. They speak effortlessly. This comparison creates inadequacy. Inadequacy fuels fear. The mind forgets that others may also be nervous. It only sees the surface, and the surface lies. The mind creates fear by focusing on control. It wants certainty. It wants to know exactly what will happen. Speaking is unpredictable, so the mind tries to control the outcome. Control creates tension. Tension disrupts flow. Flow is confidence. When the mind tightens control, the voice loses freedom. The mind also creates fear by confusing attention with danger. Attention feels intense. Intensity is misread as threat, but attention is neutral. It becomes dangerous only when meaning is added. The mind adds meaning instantly. They are watching me. They are judging me. These assumptions generate fear. The mind rarely waits for evidence. It fills gaps with imagination. Imagination under fear always chooses the worst version. This is why fear feels so convincing. The mind believes its own stories, and the body obeys. Fear before speaking is not weakness. It is misinterpretation. The mind misreads the situation. It sees social exposure as survival risk. But speaking is not danger. It is expression. The mind just has not learned that yet. That learning is what changes everything. When the mind learns that speaking does not equal harm, fear loses its grip. This learning cannot happen through force. It happens through repetition of safety, calm experiences, grounded moments, non-threatening expression. Over time, the mind rewrites its prediction. Fear weakens. The voice stabilizes. Confidence returns. In the next chapter, you will learn how fear physically locks your body and how that lock can be released. Once the body feels safe, the mind follows. And when both align, your voice becomes steady again. Not because fear disappeared, but because understanding replaced it. Chapter 3. What fear does to your body and breath. Fear never stays in the mind alone. The moment it appears, it moves downward, into the chest, into the throat, into the breath. Your body reacts faster than thought. Before you realize you are afraid, your breathing has already changed. It becomes shallow, quick, unstable. This is not accidental. It is biological. Fear activates survival mode. And survival mode prepares the body, not to speak, but to escape. Your nervous system believes you may need to run, hide, or freeze. So it redirects energy. Blood moves away from the voice, away from the face, away from expression. It moves toward the legs, toward the core. Your body prepares for movement, not communication. This is why your voice feels weak. It is not that your voice disappears. It is that your body deprioritizes it. Fear tightens the diaphragm. The diaphragm is the muscle, the wisdom that controls deep breathing. When it tightens, your breath lifts upward. You begin breathing from the chest instead of the belly. Chest breathing is fast, shallow, unstable. It does not support the voice. The voice depends on steady air. Fear removes that steadiness. Your throat also reacts. Muscles around the vocal cords tighten. This tightening is meant to protect you, but protection creates restriction. Restricted vocal cords produce shaky sound. Your voice trembles, not because you lack confidence, but because fear narrows the channel. The jaw tightens, the neck stiffens, the tongue loses flexibility. Every muscle involved in speech becomes guarded. Guarded muscles cannot produce strong sound. Your posture also changes. Fear pulls the body inward. Shoulders roll forward. Chest collapses slightly. Spine loses openness. This posture compresses the lungs. Compressed lungs reduce breath capacity. Reduced breath weakens voice. Fear also accelerates the heartbeat. A faster heart means less rhythm in breathing. Breath and voice lose sync. Your words rush. Your sentences shorten. Your pauses disappear. You speak faster because your body wants the moment to end. Speed becomes escape, but speed removes authority from your voice. Fear also disrupts grounding. Grounding is the feeling of stability in the body. When grounded, you feel connected to the floor, to your weight, to your balance. Fear lifts you out of your body. You feel light, disconnected, floating. This disconnection makes your voice feel detached. You are no longer speaking from your body. You are speaking from your head, and the head has no breath. The body is the source of vocal power. Fear cuts that connection. This is why confident speakers sound full, deep, steady. They are breathing fully. Fear also affects facial muscles. Your face becomes tense. Tension blocks natural expression. Your face stops supporting your words. The voice loses warmth. Even if your words are correct, they lack emotional presence. Fear also shortens attention. When afraid, Your body focuses on threat. It stops supporting complex tasks, like expressive speech. Your mind feels scattered. You forget words. You lose flow. This is not lack of preparation. It is lack of oxygen. Shallow breathing reduces oxygen to the brain. Reduced oxygen reduces clarity. Clarity is essential for speech. Fear interrupts that supply. Another effect of fear is over-control of breathing. You try to control your breath consciously. Control creates more tension. Breathing is meant to be allowed, not forced. When you force breath, it becomes irregular. Irregular breath creates unstable sound. Fear also creates holding patterns. You hold your breath without realizing, between sentences, between words. This creates pressure inside the chest. Pressure bursts out as shaky sound. Your voice cracks because the air was held too long, then released suddenly. Fear teaches the body to brace. Bracing is preparation for impact. But speaking does not need bracing. It needs openness. Openness disappears under fear. Fear also affects rhythm. Your natural speaking rhythm slows down or speeds up. Either way, it becomes unnatural. Listeners feel this immediately. They sense discomfort, even if they don't know why. This increases your self-awareness. Self-awareness increases fear, and the cycle continues. Fear also disconnects you from silence. Silence feels dangerous when afraid, so you fill space quickly. You avoid pauses, but pauses are where confidence lives. Fear steals pauses. Without pauses, speech feels rushed. Rushed speech feels insecure. Fear also lowers vocal resonance. Resonance comes from relaxed muscles and deep breath. Fear removes both. Your voice sounds thin. Thin voice lacks authority. Authority requires grounding. Fear removes grounding. Everything connects back to safety. The body only supports expression when it feels safe. If it feels threatened, it shuts expression down. This is why no amount of positive thinking fixes nervous speaking. Because the problem is not thought, it is physical safety. The body must learn that speaking does not equal harm. Until then, it will continue to restrict breath and voice. This chapter is important because it removes self-blame. You are not broken. Your body is doing exactly what it was designed to do, under fear. The solution is not to fight the body. It is to reassure it. When the body feels safe, the breath deepens. When the breath deepens, the voice stabilizes. When the voice stabilizes, confidence appears naturally. In the next chapter, you will learn how to retrain your body to feel safe while speaking. You will learn how to use breath as a signal of safety, not control. Once the body changes, the voice follows. And when the voice follows, fear no longer controls you. It fades quietly because it is no longer needed. Chapter 4. Rebuilding safety in your nervous system. Safety is not a thought. It is a feeling in the body. Until your nervous system feels safe, confidence cannot stay. It may appear for a moment, but it will never last. Your nervous system is older than your logic. It does not listen to motivation. It listens to signals. Signals of calm, signals of stability, signals of grounding. When these signals are missing, fear takes over automatically. Rebuilding safety means teaching your body that speaking is no longer a threat, not by force, not by pressure, but by consistency. The nervous system learns through experience, not through explanation. You can understand fear perfectly and still feel nervous, because understanding alone does not change body memory. Body memory changes only when the body experiences calm in situations that once felt dangerous. That is how safety is rebuilt. The first step is slowing down. Fear speeds everything up. Thoughts rush. Breath shortens. Movements tighten. Speed tells the nervous system that danger is present. Slowing down tells it that there is no emergency. When you slow your movements, your body begins to settle. When you slow your breath, your heart responds. When the heart settles, the nervous system softens. This is not theory. It is biology. Safety begins with rhythm. A steady rhythm signals control. An erratic rhythm signals threat. This is why calm speakers move slowly, pause naturally, breathe deeply. They are not trying to look confident. Their nervous system is regulated. To rebuild safety, you must become aware of your internal state before you speak, not to judge it, to acknowledge it. Acknowledgement reduces resistance. When you resist fear, the nervous system tightens. When you accept sensation without panic, the system begins to relax. Acceptance is the first signal of safety. You are telling your body, I am not in danger, I am here. Another key to rebuilding safety is grounding. Grounding brings your attention back into your body. Fear pulls attention upward, into the head, into the future. Grounding pulls attention downward, into the feet, into the legs, into the present. When your body feels contact with the ground, your nervous system stabilizes. Stability reduces fear. This is why confident speakers feel solid in their stance. They are connected to the floor. Your nervous system reads this as support. Safety also rebuilds through breath that is allowed, not controlled. Control signals tension. Allowance signals ease. When you let your breath drop naturally, the body softens. Softness allows voice. Forcing breath creates pressure. Pressure triggers alarm. Rebuilding safety means allowing breath to move freely, without judgment. When breath flows, the nervous system receives oxygen. Oxygen calms the brain. Calm brain reduces threat perception. Another important aspect is posture. Posture is not about standing straight. It is about openness. Closed posture protects the body. Open posture signals safety. When the chest opens slightly, lungs expand. Expanded lungs support breath. Supported breath supports voice. Your nervous system reads openness as confidence and security. Rebuilding safety also requires reducing self-monitoring. Watching yourself speak keeps the nervous system alert. It feels like surveillance. Surveillance means danger. When you shift focus outward, toward the message, toward connection, the nervous system relaxes. You are no longer the target. The focus moves away from survival. Safety grows when attention moves outward. Another way safety rebuilds is through repetition of calm exposure. Avoidance strengthens fear. Gentle exposure weakens it. When you speak in small, safe environments, without pushing yourself, your nervous system learns new patterns. Each calm experience rewrites memory. You are teaching your body that speaking can happen without harm. Over time, fear loses its authority. Safety also comes from internal permission. Many people speak while internally saying, "Don't mess up." This creates pressure. Pressure signals danger. Internal permission sounds different. I am allowed to take space. I am allowed to pause. I am allowed to be human. These permissions soften the nervous system. Soft nervous system creates stable voice. Another layer of safety comes from reducing outcome attachment. When outcome defines value, fear intensifies. When value is separate from performance, fear weakens. Your nervous system does not want your worth to be at risk. Separate worth from speech, and the system relaxes. Safety is also rebuilt by trusting silence. Silence is not failure. Silence is regulation. Pauses give the nervous system time to settle between sentences. Rushing removes that opportunity. Confident speakers pause because their nervous system feels safe. They do not fear silence. Learning to pause is learning to trust safety. Rebuilding safety also means changing the internal tone. Harsh self-talk creates threat. Gentle internal language creates reassurance. Your nervous system listens to how you speak to yourself. If your inner voice is critical, fear increases. If your inner voice is supportive, fear decreases. Support builds safety. Over time, your nervous system begins to associate speaking with calm rather than threat. This is not instant, but it is reliable. Safety builds slowly, and once built, It stays. You no longer need to force confidence. It appears naturally because fear no longer dominates. Your body learns that it can stay present without danger. When the body feels safe, the voice stabilizes. When the voice stabilizes, confidence becomes your baseline, not something you reach for, something you return to. In the next chapter, you will learn how to use breath deliberately to anchor calm before and during speech. Breath will become your signal of safety. And once safety is consistent, nervousness no longer controls you. It fades quietly because it is no longer needed. Chapter 5. Breathing techniques that stabilize your voice. Your voice follows your breath, always. When breath is unstable, the voice becomes uncertain. When breath is steady, the voice becomes grounded. This connection is absolute. You cannot speak with confidence while breathing in fear. Breath is the bridge between the body and the voice. It carries calm. It carries rhythm. It carries strength. Fear breaks this bridge. Confidence rebuilds it. Most people breathe without awareness. That is fine for survival, but not for speaking. Speaking requires supportive breath. Support does not mean force. It means availability. Your breath must be present before your words arrive. Fear teaches you to hold breath. Confidence teaches you to release it. The first change begins when you allow the breath to drop. Not lift, not rush, drop. When breath drops into the lower body, the nervous system relaxes. Relaxation stabilizes the diaphragm. A stable diaphragm creates steady airflow. Steady airflow creates steady sound. This is why confident voices sound full and calm. They are carried by breath, not pushed by throat. One of the most powerful shifts is moving breath from the chest to the belly. Chest breath is shallow. Belly breath is deep. Deep breath supports voice naturally. When you inhale deeply, your belly expands gently. Your chest remains relaxed. This expansion signals safety. Safety allows the voice to open. Exhalation is where speaking lives. If exhalation is rushed, words rush. If exhalation is controlled harshly, voice tightens. If exhalation is allowed smoothly, voice flows. The key is smooth release. Breath should leave the body as if it has nowhere else to be. No urgency, no force, just movement. Fear interrupts this movement. So your task is simple. Restore flow. Before speaking, take a slow inhale through the nose. Let the air settle. Do not speak immediately. Allow a small pause. That pause is powerful. It tells the nervous system there is time. Time means safety. Then speak as you exhale. Not at the top of the breath. Not after holding. During exhalation. This synchronizes breath and voice. Synchronization creates stability. Another essential element is breath pacing. Fear shortens breath cycles. Confidence lengthens them. Longer breath cycles slow the nervous system. When the system slows, the voice steadies. You do not need dramatic breathing. You need consistent breathing. Consistency creates trust inside the body. Trust removes panic. Another technique is releasing breath silently. Before speaking, exhale gently through the mouth. Let tension leave with the air. This resets the system. Reset creates neutrality. Neutrality supports expression. Breath also needs space. If your posture collapses, breath compresses. Compressed breath creates pressure. Pressure weakens voice. Open posture gives breath room. Room gives voice resonance. Resonance creates authority. Breathing also stabilizes rhythm. When breath is calm, sentences lengthen naturally. Pauses return. Your speech gains structure. Structure sounds confident. Fear removes structure. Breath restores it. Another important aspect is breathing through moments of silence. Many people stop breathing when they pause. This creates tension. Breathing during silence keeps the system regulated. Silence becomes safe. Safe silence increases confidence. Breath also anchors attention. When fear rises, Attention scatters. Returning attention to breath brings you back into the body. The body grounds the mind. Grounded mind stabilizes voice. Breathing also helps during mistakes. Mistakes increase fear. Fear tightens breath. Tight breath worsens the mistake. But if you breathe through the moment, the system resets. The voice recovers. The audience feels calm. Breath protects you when things do not go perfectly. Another subtle technique is breathing without sound. No sighing, no gasping. Quiet breath signals control. Control reassures the nervous system. The more you trust breath, the less you fear speaking. Because breath becomes your anchor, you stop relying on willpower. Willpower collapses under fear. Breath does not. Breath is automatic when allowed. The goal is not to think about breathing while speaking. The goal is to prepare the breath before speaking. Preparation removes panic. Once breath is set, the voice takes care of itself. This is why experienced speakers focus on breathing before they speak. They do not fight nerves. They regulate breath. Breath regulation is nervous system regulation. Nervous system regulation is confidence. Over time, your body learns a new pattern. Speaking equals breathing calmly. This association weakens fear. The body no longer panics. It recognizes familiarity. Familiarity feels safe. Safe body creates strong voice. Breath becomes your signal that everything is under control. Even when the situation is intense, even when attention is heavy, your breath stays steady. And when breath stays steady, so does your voice. In the next chapter, you will learn how to control pace and pauses, to sound confident, even when fear tries to return. Pace is breath in motion, and once you master it, your voice will no longer betray you. It will support you. Chapter 6. Controlling pace and pauses without overthinking. Confidence is not speed, it is timing. Most nervous speakers rush, not because they want to, but because their body wants the moment to end. Speed becomes escape. When fear rises, your nervous system pushes you forward. Finish quickly. Get out. This urgency leaks into your voice. Words collide. Sentences shorten. Meaning blurs. Listeners feel the tension, even if they do not know why. Pace is not about slowing down artificially. It is about allowing the natural rhythm to return. Natural rhythm already exists. Fear disrupts it. When fear is present, your mind jumps ahead of your words. You speak faster than you can think. This creates disconnection. Your voice loses authority because authority comes from presence. Presence requires time. Pace is the external expression of your internal state. Calm inside creates steady pace outside. Rushing reveals inner instability. But here is the truth most people miss. You do not control pace with the mind. You control it with the body. Trying to mentally slow down creates stiffness. Stiffness sounds unnatural. Confidence is relaxed control, not forced restraint. The first key to controlling pace is trusting silence. Silence is not empty. It is full of regulation. When you pause, your nervous system recalibrates. Heart rate steadies. Breath deepens. Your voice regains balance. Nervous speakers fear silence because silence feels exposed. They believe silence means failure, but silence actually signals confidence. People associate calm pauses with certainty. Pauses show that you are not rushed, that you are not overwhelmed. Pauses give weight to words. Without pauses, everything sounds equally important. Nothing stands out. Pauses create structure. Structure creates clarity. Clarity creates confidence. Another truth is this: you do not pause by stopping. You pause by continuing to breathe. Most people stop breathing when they pause. This creates tension. Breathing through the pause keeps the body relaxed. Relaxed body equals steady voice. Pauses are safer when breath keeps moving. The next key is sentence completion. Fear makes you abandon sentences halfway. You rush to the next thought before finishing the last one. This fragments your message. Fragmented speech sounds insecure. Confident speakers finish their thoughts. Not slowly, completely. Completion creates closure. Closure reassures the listener. Reassured listeners relax. Relaxed listeners reflect calm back to you. Your pace stabilizes naturally. Pace also depends on breath release. If you release breath too quickly, speech accelerates. If you release breath evenly, speech steadies. Even breath equals even pace. You do not need to count. You do not need to measure. You simply allow breath to carry the words. Words ride the breath. When breath rushes, words rush. When breath flows, words flow. Another important aspect is resisting the urge to fill space. Fear tells you to keep talking. It says silence is dangerous. But silence is only dangerous when you judge it. When you accept silence, it becomes supportive. Listeners need space to absorb what you say. Pauses give them that space. When listeners are processing, they are engaged. Engagement increases confidence because you feel heard. Feeling heard reduces fear. This creates a positive loop. Another key to natural pacing is reducing internal commentary. When you comment on yourself while speaking, pace collapses. Thoughts like, slow down, you are going too fast, they are watching you. Disrupt rhythm. Rhythm lives in the body, not in commentary. The more you think about pace, the less natural it becomes. Control without overthinking comes from preparation, not correction. You prepare the body beforehand. Once speaking begins, you trust it. Trust removes interference. Interference creates tension. Pace also depends on emotional grounding. When you are emotionally grounded, your pace settles. When you are emotionally scattered, your pace fluctuates. Grounding comes from presence. Presence comes from breath. Breath connects everything. Another powerful technique is anchoring to key phrases. When something matters, you allow space around it. Space gives importance. Important points deserve air. Air makes them land. Rushing past important moment signals insecurity. Allowing space signals confidence. Pauses are not breaks in speech. They are part of speech. They are punctuation made audible. Just as writing needs punctuation, speaking needs pauses. Without them, everything becomes noise. Confident speakers are not slower overall. They are selective. They slow down when it matters. They move naturally when it does not. This variation creates musicality. Monotone pace sounds mechanical. Varied pace sounds alive. Life attracts attention. Attention builds confidence. Another aspect is body movement. When the body fidgets, speeds up. Stillness calms rhythm. Stillness does not mean stiffness. It means grounded movement. When your body is stable, your voice follows. Fear creates restless movement. Restlessness disrupts pacing. Calm posture stabilizes it. Another subtle shift is allowing mistakes without speeding up. Mistakes trigger panic. Panic accelerates pace. Acceleration worsens the mistake. But if you pause, breathe, and continue, control returns. Listeners respect recovery more than perfection. Recovery shows mastery. Mastery feels confident. Confidence reduces fear. Pace and pauses also regulate the audience. When you slow, they slow. When you pause, they listen. You lead the rhythm. Leadership builds confidence internally. You stop reacting. You begin guiding. Guidance feels powerful. Power stabilizes the voice. The goal is not to perform pauses. The goal is to allow them. Allowance is softer than effort. Soft control is stronger than force. When you stop fighting pace, pace finds you. When you stop fearing silence, silence supports you. Handasala, when you trust breath, timing aligns naturally. In the next chapter, you will learn how to shape your voice tone so it sounds confident, even when emotions shift. Tone is emotion made audible, and once tone is stable, confidence becomes unmistakable. Chapter 7. Developing a calm and confident voice tone. Your tone speaks before your words. People feel your voice before they understand your message. Tone carries emotion. Tone carries intention. Tone carries authority. You can say the right words with the wrong tone and still sound unsure. Confidence lives inside tone, not vocabulary. A calm voice is not quiet. It is steady. A confident voice is not loud. It is grounded. Most people misunderstand voice tone because they try to change it directly. They force depth. They force firmness. They force projection. Force never creates calm. Calm is the absence of internal struggle. When the body relaxes, the tone settles naturally. Tone is shaped by three things: breath, muscle tension, emotional state. Change these, and tone changes automatically. Fear sharpens tone. Calm softens it. When fear is present, the voice climbs upward. It becomes thin, tight, unstable. This happens because tension pulls sound into the throat. The throat is not designed to carry authority. Authority comes from depth. Depth comes from the chest, from relaxed muscles, from supported breath. A calm tone begins when sound drops lower in the body, not artificially, naturally. You do not push your voice down. You allow it to settle. Settling happens when the body stops bracing. Bracing creates sharpness. Release creates warmth. Warmth signals confidence. People trust warmth more than intensity. Tone also reflects emotional pressure. When you feel pressure to perform, your tone tightens. When you release outcome, your tone opens. Open tone feels honest. Honesty feels confident. Another key to calm tone is reducing vocal strain. Strain sounds desperate. Even if the message is strong, strained tone weakens it. Strain happens when the voice is pushed instead of supported. Support always comes from breath. When breath leads, tone follows. A supported voice does not rush. It does not crack. It does not tremble. It stays present. Presence is what people hear as confidence. Tone also changes based on internal dialogue. If your inner voice is harsh, your outer voice reflects it. Criticism sharpens tone. Gentleness softens tone. This is why self-compassion directly affects speaking confidence. When you are kind to yourself, your voice sounds safe. Safe voice attracts attention without demanding it. Another factor is resonance. Resonance is the fullness of sound. Fear reduces resonance. Calm restores it. Resonance comes when sound vibrates through the chest instead of staying trapped in the throat. This vibration feels solid. Solid sound feels confident. You do not need to chase resonance. You create the conditions for it. Relaxed jaw, loose tongue, open chest. These allow sound to travel freely. Freedom creates richness. Rich tone commands respect without aggression. Tone also carries emotional clarity. When emotions are mixed, tone becomes confusing. When emotions are clear, tone stabilizes. Clarity does not mean emotional absence. It means emotional ownership. When you own what you feel, your tone aligns. Alignment creates authenticity. Authentic tone is persuasive. People trust what feels real. Another subtle shift is slowing the onset of sound. Fear makes sound burst out. Bursting sounds feel uncontrolled. When you allow sound to emerge gradually, tone smooths. Smooth tone feels composed. Composed tone signals confidence. Tone is also shaped by how you start sentences. Rushed beginnings sound uncertain. Grounded beginnings sound deliberate. When you allow a brief breath before speaking, your tone settles. That moment of preparation changes everything. Tone also improves when you stop trying to impress. Impressing creates tension. Tension sharpens tone. Connection softens tone. Speak to connect, not to prove. Proof demands performance. Connection invites presence. Presence stabilizes tone. Another powerful influence is emotional pacing. If emotions move too fast, tone becomes unstable. If emotions move steadily, tone becomes calm. You do not suppress emotion, you regulate it. Regulation creates smooth delivery. Smooth delivery feels confident. Tone also reflects inner permission. If you feel you must earn space, your tone shrinks. If you feel allowed to exist, your tone expands. Expansion sounds confident. Shrinking sounds apologetic. Permission is internal. When you grant it, tone changes instantly. Another element is trusting your natural voice. Many people dislike their voice. This creates resistance. Resistance tightens muscles. Tight muscles distort tone. Acceptance relaxes muscles. Relaxed muscles produce clean sound. Clean sound feels confident. You do not need a different voice. You need freedom in your voice. Freedom comes from letting go of judgment. Tone also responds to how you end sentences. Fear drops energy at the end. Sentences fade. Fading sounds unsure. When you maintain breath support, through the end, sentences land. Landing gives authority. Authority is calm, not aggressive. Tone also improves when you allow emotion without exaggeration. Exaggeration sounds forced. Underexpression sounds flat. Balanced emotion sounds real. Real tone builds trust. Trust creates confidence. Tone is also influenced by how you listen. When you listen deeply, your response is slow. Slow responses create steadiness. Steady tone feels thoughtful. Thoughtful tone feels confident. Another important shift is removing fear of judgment. Fear tightens tone. When judgment loses power, tone relaxes. Relaxed tone is attractive. People lean toward it. Tone also reflects self-respect. When you respect yourself, your voice carries dignity. Dignity feels calm. Calm dignity feels powerful. Power does not shout. It resonates. As your nervous system stabilizes, your tone becomes consistent. Consistency builds familiarity. Familiarity builds trust. Trust builds influence. You stop trying to sound confident. You simply sound like yourself without fear. That is the deepest confidence. A calm and confident tone. Tone is not created in one moment. It emerges as fear releases. Each chapter so far has removed a layer of tension. As tension leaves, tone settles. This is the real transformation. Your voice stops fighting your body. It starts working with it. In the next chapter, you will learn how to speak confidently, even when attention is heavy and eyes are on you. Presence under attention is the final test of calm tone. And once you master that, public speaking no longer feels threatening. It feels natural. Chapter 8. Speaking confidently, under pressure and attention. Pressure is not created by people. It is created by meaning. The moment attention turns toward you, your mind assigns importance. Importance creates weight. Weight creates pressure. Pressure does not come from the audience. It comes from the story you tell yourself about the audience. When many eyes are on you, your nervous system becomes alert. Alert does not mean afraid. It means activated. But most people misinterpret activation as danger. That misinterpretation creates fear. Attention itself is neutral. It has no emotion. It becomes threatening only when your mind attaches judgment to it. They are watching me. They are evaluating me. They are noticing my mistakes. These thoughts turn attention into pressure. Pressure tightens the body. Tight body restricts breath. Restricted breath weakens voice. And suddenly, confidence disappears. Not because you are incapable, but because you misread attention. Confident speakers understand one thing deeply. Attention is energy, and energy can be guided. When you panic under attention, energy scatters. When you stay present, energy stabilizes. The difference is not talent, it is interpretation. Under pressure, most people turn inward. They start watching themselves. How do I look? How do I sound? What are they thinking? This internal focus fragments presence. Presence collapses when you split attention. One part of you performs, another part judges. Judgment creates tension. Tension creates fear. Confident speakers do the opposite. They move attention outward, not to the audience as a threat, but to the message as purpose. Purpose steadies the mind. When you focus on delivering value, pressure loses its grip. You are no longer being observed. You are contributing. Contribution feels safe. Performance feels risky. Pressure intensifies. When you believe you must prove yourself. Proof creates burden. Burden makes the body defensive. Defensive body restricts expression. Confident speakers do not prove, they share. Sharing feels natural. Natural action calms the nervous system. Another reason pressure feels overwhelming is because attention amplifies self-awareness. Every sensation feels louder. Heartbeat feels stronger. Breath feels shorter. Voice feels exposed. The mind magnifies normal sensations. This magnification creates panic. But sensations are not signals of failure. They are signals of energy. Energy rises under attention. That energy can either become anxiety or presence. The difference lies in grounding. When energy rises, your task is not to suppress it. Suppression creates conflict. Your task is to channel it. Grounding channels energy. When you feel your feet, your weight, your breath, energy settles. Settled energy supports voice. Unsettled energy disrupts it. Pressure also increases when silence feels dangerous. Under attention, people fear pauses more than mistakes. Silence feels like exposure, so they rush. Rushing increases mistakes. Mistakes increase fear. Fear increases pressure. The cycle deepens. Confident speakers break the cycle by owning silence. They pause without apology. Pause communicates control. Control reduces pressure. Pressure dissolves when control is visible. Another aspect of pressure is time distortion. Under attention, time feels compressed. Seconds feel shorter. This creates urgency. Urgency accelerates speech. Acceleration destabilizes voice. Voice tiered. But time is not actually shorter. Perception has changed. Confident speakers slow their perception by slowing their breath. Slow breath expands time. Expanded time restores choice. Choice restores confidence. Pressure also grows when you imagine the audience as one unit, a mass. Mass feels overwhelming, but audiences are individuals. Individual energy is manageable. Mass energy feels threatening. Confident speakers subconsciously speak to one person at a time. This reduces psychological load. Connection replaces confrontation. Pressure also intensifies when you fear mistakes. Fear of mistakes creates rigidity. Rigid speech sounds unnatural. Natural speech allows imperfection. Imperfection humanizes you. Human presence reduces pressure. Audiences connect with humanity, not flawlessness. Another pressure trigger is expectation of consistency. You believe you must sound confident from beginning to end. This expectation creates tension. Confidence is not constant. It fluctuates. Confident speakers accept fluctuation. Acceptance reduces resistance. Resistance amplifies pressure. Acceptance softens it. Pressure also spikes when you anticipate reaction. Will they like this? Will they agree? Anticipation pulls you out of the moment. Presence disappears. Without presence, confidence cannot exist. Confident speakers stay in delivery, not reaction. They trust that reaction will follow. Trust removes pressure. Another hidden source of pressure is comparison. You compare yourself to confident speakers you admire. Comparison creates inadequacy. Inadequacy creates fear. Fear magnifies attention. Confident speakers do not compare. They stay in their own rhythm. Your rhythm is your strength. Pressure also fades when you accept visibility. Many people fear being seen. Visibility feels unsafe, but speaking requires visibility. The moment you accept being seen, pressure drops. Acceptance removes inner conflict. Conflict fuels anxiety. Calm speakers have resolved the conflict with visibility. They no longer hide, they no longer shrink. They allow attention to exist without resistance. Resistance creates pressure. Allowance dissolves it. Another powerful shift is changing your relationship with energy. Under pressure, energy rises. Do not label it fear, label it readiness. The label changes the experience. Readiness feels empowering. Fear feels limiting. The body reacts differently to each interpretation. Interpretation shapes experience. Pressure also becomes manageable when you stop rushing the opening moments. The first few seconds set the tone for everything. If you rush them, pressure takes control. If you ground them, confidence takes over. Confident speakers take their time at the beginning. They breathe, they settle, they arrive. Arrival changes everything. When you arrive fully, pressure has nowhere to attach. Speaking under attention becomes conversation, not confrontation. As you practice this, attention stops feeling heavy. It becomes neutral. Eventually, it becomes supportive because you realize something important. The audience is not against you. They are simply present. Presence is not threat. It is opportunity. When you treat attention as energy, instead of danger, your voice stays steady. Your breath stays deep. Your tone stays calm, and pressure no longer controls you. In the next chapter, you will learn how to think clearly and speak confidently, even when emotions rise unexpectedly. Emotional spikes are the final challenge, and once you master that, nervousness truly loses its power. Chapter 9: Staying Confident. When emotions rise, confidence is easiest. When everything feels calm, but true confidence is revealed when emotions rise unexpectedly. A sudden wave of anxiety, a flash of anger, a surge of excitement, a moment of vulnerability. These moments expose the real foundation of your confidence. Most people lose control here, not because they are weak, but because they were never taught how to stay present with emotion. Emotion is energy. When energy rises suddenly, the body reacts first. Breath changes, muscles tighten, voice shifts. If you resist the emotion, it intensifies. Resistance tells the nervous system that something is wrong. Wrong means danger. Danger activates fear. Fear disrupts speech. Confidence collapses. The mistake most people make is trying to suppress emotion while speaking. Suppression creates internal conflict. Conflict leaks into tone. Tone reveals instability, even when words sound correct. Confident speakers do not suppress emotion. They regulate it. Regulation means allowing emotion without letting it take control. Allowance creates space. Space prevents overwhelm. When emotion rises, your first task is not to fix it. Your task is to stay with your body. Emotion pulls attention upward, into thought, into story, into interpretation. Returning attention to the body anchors you in the present. Presence stabilizes confidence. When emotions rise, breath becomes the anchor, not forced breathing. Aware breathing. Awareness calms intensity. Intensity reduces when it is observed, without judgment. Judgment escalates emotion. Observation softens it. Another reason emotions disrupt confidence is because you assign meaning too quickly. You label emotion as failure. I am nervous. I am losing control. These labels increase fear. Fear magnifies emotion. Confident speakers change the label. They see emotion as information. Information does not threaten. It guides. When you treat emotion as information, you remain in control. Control keeps confidence intact. Emotions often rise because something matters. Meaning increases emotional charge. Charge is not weakness. It is engagement. Engagement can strengthen voice when managed properly. But unmanaged engagement becomes overwhelm. The difference lies in pacing. When emotion rises, slow the moment. Not the words artificially, but the internal rhythm. Slow breath. Slow movement, Slow reaction. Slowing gives emotion time to settle. Settled emotion supports expression. Another key is allowing emotion to pass through the voice instead of blocking it. Blocked emotion tightens tone. Allowed emotion softens tone. Soft tone sounds authentic. Authenticity builds trust. Trust supports confidence. Emotional honesty does not mean oversharing. It means congruence. What you feel and how you sound are aligned. Alignment creates stability. Disalignment creates tension. People sense alignment instinctively. They relax around it. Relaxed audience reduces pressure. Reduced pressure calms emotion. A powerful technique is grounding during emotional spikes. Grounding brings awareness to physical contact. Feet on the floor, weight in the body. This physical awareness interrupts emotional escalation. Emotion loses momentum when grounded. Another reason emotions derail confidence is because people fear being seen emotionally. Vulnerability feels dangerous, so they try to hide it. Hiding creates strain. Strain destabilizes voice. Confident speakers allow humanity. They do not dramatize emotion, but they do not erase it. They stay real. Real presence feels strong. Strength stabilizes confidence. Emotions also disrupt confidence when you try to control reaction. Control creates rigidity. Rigidity breaks flow. Flow supports speech. Allow flow, and emotion integrates naturally. Integration is key. Integrated emotion does not overpower, it enriches. Another shift is learning to pause when emotion rises. Pause is not retreat. Pause is regulation. During a pause, breath resets. Reset restores balance. Balance restores voice. Pausing during emotion is a sign of mastery, not weakness. Another important understanding is that emotions peak quickly. They rise fast, but fall naturally if not fueled. Fuel comes from thought. Stop fueling and emotion settles. Confident speakers do not chase emotion. They allow it to crest and pass. This keeps speech stable. Emotion also intensifies when you fear losing control. Fear of fear creates panic. Acceptance removes this fear. When you accept emotional movement, panic fades. Confidence remains. Another hidden factor is inner permission. Many people believe they must always sound composed. This belief creates pressure. Pressure triggers emotion. Remove the rule, and emotion softens. You are allowed to feel. Feeling does not mean failing. This permission stabilizes confidence. Tone also stabilizes when you stop anticipating reaction. Anticipation pulls attention forward. Presence disappears. Without presence, emotion takes over. Stay in the moment. The moment is manageable. The future is not. Another aspect is reframing emotional intensity. Intensity can be power. Energy can amplify presence, but only if grounded. Ungrounded intensity feels chaotic. Grounded intensity feels passionate. Passion strengthens confidence. Many powerful speakers are emotional, but their emotion is contained, not explosive. Containment comes from grounding. Another stabilizing factor is familiarity with emotion. When emotions surprise you, they feel dangerous. When you expect them, they feel manageable. Expectation reduces fear. Over time, as you practice speaking through emotion, your nervous system adapts. Emotion no longer triggers alarm. Alarm no longer disrupts speech. Confidence becomes resilient, not fragile. Resilient confidence does not depend on calm conditions. It survives fluctuation. It bends without breaking. This is real confidence. By this stage in your journey, you have learned to calm the body, stabilize breath, control pace, shape tone, handle attention, and now integrate emotion. Only one chapter remains. The final chapter will bring everything together. You will learn how to step into speaking situation with a complete inner system that no longer collapses under fear, Confidence will stop feeling like something you chase. It will feel like something you return to. And once that happens, public nervousness truly ends. Chapter 10. Becoming a naturally confident speaker for life. Natural confidence is not created. It is revealed. It appears when fear no longer interferes, when the body no longer resists expression, when the mind no longer treats speaking as danger. At this point, confidence stops feeling like effort. It feels like return, a return to how you spoke, before fear taught you to hide, before judgment taught you to doubt, before pressure taught you to rush. Natural confidence is not something you perform, it is something you allow. Throughout this journey, you did not learn how to act confident. You learned how to remove the blocks that were preventing confidence from flowing naturally. Fear controlled your voice because your body felt unsafe. Now safety has been rebuilt. Your breath no longer panics. Your body no longer tightens. Your mind no longer predicts disaster. When safety becomes the baseline, confidence becomes automatic. A naturally confident speaker does not wake up confident every day. They wake up regulated. Regulation is the real skill. When the nervous system is regulated, the voice stays steady. When the voice stays steady, the mind relaxes. When the mind relaxes, confidence appears. This is not temporary. It becomes your default state. Life will still create pressure. People will still watch. Emotions will still rise. But these things no longer hijack you. They pass through you without taking control. This is the difference between forced confidence and natural confidence. Forced confidence collapses under stress. Natural confidence adapts. It bends, it breathes, it stays present. A naturally confident speaker is not fearless. They are familiar with fear. Fear no longer surprises them. It no longer confuses them. It no longer controls them. They recognize fear as a temporary body signal, not a command. This recognition creates power. Power does not come from dominance. It comes from self-trust. You trust your body now. You trust your breath. You trust your ability to recover. Recovery is confidence. Knowing that even if you stumble, you will not collapse. That knowledge removes panic. A naturally confident speaker does not try to sound perfect. They aim to stay connected. Connection is more powerful than polish. When you stay connected to your breath, to your body, to your message, your voice stays alive. Alive voices are confident voices. Dead, controlled voices sound insecure. Life in the voice comes from permission. Permission. Permission to pause. Permission to breathe. Permission to feel. Permission to exist without apology. When you grant yourself this permission, your voice expands. Expansion feels confident. This confidence is quiet. It does not announce itself. It does not seek validation. It simply exists. People feel it immediately. They respond differently. They listen more. They interrupt less. They trust more, not because you demanded respect, but because your presence invited it. Natural confidence also changes how you see speaking situations. They stop feeling like tests. They start feeling like moments. Moments you move through instead of moments you survive. Survival mode ends when safety is internal. You no longer need external reassurance. You carry reassurance inside you. This is why confidence becomes lifelong. It is not tied to a room, an audience, or an outcome. It lives in your nervous system. As long as you maintain regulation, confidence remains accessible. Even after long breaks, even after mistakes, even after difficult experiences, you always know how to return. Return to breath, return to grounding, return to presence. That return is your skill. Not speaking loudly, not dominating conversations, but staying centered while expressing yourself clearly. This kind of confidence spreads into every area of life. Meetings feel easier, conversations feel calmer, disagreements feel manageable. You no longer disappear in social spaces. You remain visible without feeling exposed. Visibility stops feeling dangerous, or because your body knows it can handle it. This is the final transformation. You are no longer trying to get rid of nervousness. You have outgrown it. Nervousness loses relevance when safety is consistent. Confidence does not need constant maintenance. It needs awareness. As long as you listen to your body, respect your breath, and stay present, your voice will support you. This is how confident speakers are made, not in one speech, not in one moment, but through understanding, regulation, and self-trust. From this point forward, speaking confidently is not something you prepare for. It is something you arrive with, because it is already part of you. You were never broken. You were never incapable. You were simply protecting yourself in the only way you knew. Now you know better, and because you know better, you speak better. Calmly, clearly, naturally. This is not the end of learning. It is the end of fear controlling your voice, and the beginning of speaking as the person you always were, steady, grounded, and confident.